Coming out of coronavirus lockdown, life in New Zealand seemed to be almost the same as normal. In June 2020, we were in a state of celebration and winter was on its way.
Careful.
So we're doing a little bit of cleaning here in the gardens in Queenstown, and we came across a geocache. So the earliest one that we have here is 2011, so we don't have a pen unfortunately, but Francesca is going to run home and grab one and then come back. Maybe. Or maybe one day come back and just do it.
Now I know what it is.
Yeah. With a feeling of gratitude towards nature and the trails that supported our sanity during the social and travel restrictions, Francesca and I decided to volunteer in cleaning up the Queenstown Trail and Gardens. So we're here in the beautiful Queenstown Gardens doing a little bit of volunteer work. Basically what we're doing is going around and picking up bits of rubbish that people have dropped and left behind. You can see in the background here how pristine and how beautiful this area is. But even in a town as beautiful as Queenstown, you'll still find rubbish everywhere. Bits like this. Now, the biggest culprits, or some of the biggest culprits, are smokers, okay? So if you are a smoker, please carry around a little container with you to put your cigarette butts in. We find them everywhere. And what I always recommend to people doing walks around this area, on the trails, or even just through the gardens here, take a plastic bag with you, and if you see some rubbish on the ground, pick that rubbish up and put it in the plastic bag, because there is probably 10 times what you see out there in these areas. With the passing of the strawberry moon, we had our first heavy snowfall of the winter. Braving the cold, we showed our support and solidarity at the local Black Lives Matter representation. There she is, the chickie. Signing in. Hey, Mr. Quack Quack. They're all coming over. Stone grill. Good. With no restrictions, every outing felt like a privilege. One of the best ways to appreciate the beauty of the area we live in is to soak in a hot spa. So we're here at the Onsen Hot Pools in Queenstown. It's a beautiful place just to relax and soak in the natural environment and the beauty that you can see right behind me here. In the background there, in the valley, we have the Shotover River. And the Shotover River was famous in the 1800s for gold mining. So we're about to take a party boat out onto the Queenstown Bay right now. Being a Lord of the Rings tour guide, a place that has always been on my must-see list is the Poolburn Reservoir. This is really cool though. This landscape reminds me of like Iceland. Haven't been there. now you have. It's a lot of snow.
I can see in the mirror the mountains behind.
The snow-covered landscape from Alexandra to Poolburn was like a winter wonderland, glistening in the sunshine.
So we're off on a little bit of an adventure today, 2 to 2.5 hours outside of Queenstown, a little place called Poolburn, which was a reserve that they used in the filming of Lord of the Rings. Funnily enough, we just stopped for lunch at a cafe in a place called Otago, where we met a girl named Joanna, who actually played the stunt double of Frodo when she was 6 years old at the Fort of Brunnen, which was filmed down in Arrowtown near Queenstown. So we'll be making our way over to Poolburn very shortly, and we'll explore some of the Lord of the Rings scenes that were shot there.
Even though the mountain peaks of Queenstown were snow-covered, it had been many months since we had the opportunity to appreciate the beauty that comes with being immersed in it.
Oh man, so white.
Typical New Zealand road right here. All you need to do is go 10 minutes outside of a town and this is pretty much every road in New Zealand. So they actually filmed parts of The Hobbit here as well. If you remember the first Hobbit film where Bilbo, Gandalf and the company are being chased by the orcs, and Gandalf basically tells them to hide inside some rocks, and then there's a little back passageway that leads them to Rivendell. That was shot here on this property. And also a lot of scenes from the Two Towers as well, of Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli running along here, including the very famous line, "They're taking the hobbits to Isengard," which Francesco is going to reenact.
They're taking the hobbit to Isengard. Facing the other side.
Orcs!
Oh, they just get like that.
Kid. Ellie is communicating with his kind.
We stopped off on the side of the road after seeing a familiar sight.
Legolas, what do your elf eyes see?
The orcs turn northeast. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. So for any hunters out there, we have really big rabbits here in New Zealand.
No chains, no games.
Yeah, I know. Do you think we need chains to drive on this?
Not yet.
Should we need chains to drive on this?
Yes, we should.
And how safe is this?
Who knows?
Awesome.
We'll see.
That's adventure, man.
Nice.
So down there, I think there was a village.
Yeah, that's for the village.
That's where they're gonna.
See, this is what I don't like, when the road slopes down and we just start to slide.
Arriving at the reservoir, the location was instantly recognizable.
In Lord of the Rings, this location here is actually part of Rohan. So you might remember in the Two Towers where Saruman has instructed the wild man to go and sack the villages of the people of Rohan in the small regional areas. And then you see a mother put a small boy and girl onto a horse and send them off to Edoras to warn them that Saruman and his men are coming. So that was filmed right down here. And they actually built a couple of the little huts down here as well, in the backdrop there, that you can see set on fire. And they actually burnt these huts after they built them up. And apparently there's still some of the remnants around here of those huts. So as I was saying before, when they were actually filming in this area here, they'd actually set up some huts and they'd actually disguised some of these holiday batches, which are like beach houses here in New Zealand, holiday homes. They disguised them as some of the villages in the background right there on that little peninsula. But below me here, you can actually see one of the huts that they'd built and they'd burnt down. And they've left those here for 20 years, these logs, which is pretty cool.
I took the opportunity to explore the surrounding region and gain some alternative views. On a still day like we had, the reflections of its many small islands were absolutely stunning.
You can see the logs down there from the burnt huts. It's all down here.
The reservoir itself was built during the Great Depression and is still used for irrigation by farmers in the Ida Valley.
This is such a spectacular place. Already starting to make plans right now to come back here in summer on a camping and kayaking trip just to explore this whole area. It's awesome.
With this magnificent beauty all around us, we couldn't help but feed our curiosity for how it looked from above. We regret that we missed out on the gorge filming location, where the Lorien Leaf Brooch is dropped by Pippen in the Two Towers. However, we do plan to return.
So we're just about to leave Poolburn Reservoir right now, and we saw that amazing Lord of the Rings filming location, which is just spectacular in the snow. We made contact with a lady here who owns one of the properties that they filmed on. Her name is Sue, and she sometimes does private Lord of the Rings tours in the area. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat with her and maybe work out some sort of deal. Probably not this time, but maybe next time around. If you follow this channel, you probably know that I work for a Lord of the Rings tour company, lordoftheringstours.co.nz if you're looking for one, if you're ever in Queenstown, of course. Yeah, so maybe we might make some sort of deal with her. Pretty cool to have contacts either way.
Sue turned out to be absolutely lovely and invited us back to come visit and stay next time we were able.
What are these birds?
We were guided on our 2-hour journey home by a spectacular sunset in rural Otago. After all restrictions had been lifted, celebrations were everywhere. I visited the Arrow Sounds Festival to watch and help mix my mate Tom's band at the Fork and Tap play to an overwhelming crowd.
Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me, further on up the road. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me, further on up the road. Baby, just you wait and see. You'll be laughing pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be further on the road. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me, further on up the road. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me on up the road. Baby, just you wait and see. You'll be laughing pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. Then laughing pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be crying.
Not a bad turnout for an outdoor winter event where the temperature reached -6 degrees Celsius. The moment we had been waiting for, opening day at the Coronet Peak Ski Field.
Alright, first ski of the season. Ready? Oh, there you go. I got a nice yawn on the video. Looks like you're really having a good time.
day one of Coronet Peak. What do you think? Pretty good?
So it's going to be quiet there as well, not too many people.
Perfect. So the last rays of sunshine. Beautiful.
For me, this marked the true start of the winter season.
How you going, Frenny? It's a nice pose you got there.
If you enjoyed this video and want to check out future adventures, please like and subscribe to Global Travel Stories.